Assalamu alaikum. In this video, we will try to solve exercise 3 in chapter 4. We are still working with Microsoft Excel. Microsoft Excel, the version we are working with is 2010. Now we are in laboratory exercise 3. Let us read together the laboratory exercise points and I will solve them those points one by one. Open the file formula from the laboratory exercise 2, which we did already in Microsoft Excel last video, and apply the following instruction to the worksheet. At the end of this exercise, you will learn how to create a formula using the basic mathematical operations, which is a plus, minus, multiplication, and division. And you will also use basic functions, which is built in Excel, like sum, minimum, maximum, average, count, and if function. Enter formulas to fill in cell according to the following instructions. Adjust column width when necessary. Now the file formula, I already have it on my desktop. We created together last video. We did a sheet for Muscat branch. It's a pharmacy which has a branch called Muscat branch. This is a sheet for Muscat sheet, and it has set of medicine. For each medicine we have product number, expire date, price, and the quantity. Today we will continue using the same file. Question number 1. In cell F8, calculate the total amount as price D8 multiplied by quantity E8. Then copy the formula down the respectively columns for the total amount using autofill. Now put the cursor on F8. In order to create your own formula, you should put the cursor on formula bar and start writing equal. Now we need to multiply the price for the first medicine, Panadol. The price for Panadol is on D8, so D8 multiplied by the multiplication sign is star multiplied by the quantity. The quantity of Panadol is on E8, so the formula will be D8 multiplied by E8. Then press enter. This is the total amount. To copy the formula for other medicine, just put the cursor at the bottom right side of the cell and then drag it down to autofill and copy the formula. We have now the total amount for all other medicine in the column. Question number 2. Fill the cells with the correct use of function. A. Highest value. In cell D15, use the maximum function and the data range will be D8, D13 to get the highest value of the price. Now to get the highest value of the price, the result will be on D15. To insert a function which computes the highest value, we click on insert function and then we select the function. The function to get highest value is max for maximum. Press OK. Now here you need to select the data range. The data range is between D8 up to D13. So either you will use the mouse and select the range, or you can type it using the keyboard D8 and the range from D8 up to D13 and then press OK. Now we get the highest value for the price column. B. Lowest value in D16, use minimum. The data range is D8, D13. Use minimum function to get the lowest value of the price. Now to get the lowest value of the price on the cell D16, insert function. The function required is min. Press OK and then select the range. The range is from D8 up to D13 and then press OK. Now we get the lowest value or the minimum value for the price column. C. average in D617, use average, the data range D8, D13 function to get the average value of a price. To get the average value of price, put the cursor on D17 and then select Insert Function. The required function is average. Select average and then press OK. The data range is between D8 up to D13. Use the mouse to select the area or the data range and then press OK. This is the average for price column. D, total value in D18, use sum D8 D13 function to get the total of price. To compute the total value, click on the cell D18 and then select the function, insert function. The function is sum and then press OK. The data range between D8 up to D13 and then press OK. Now copy the formula of the to the right to get the result for the quantity total amount using autofill. Now we get the result of highest value, lowest value, average, total value for the price column. We need to compute the same functions but for the quantity and total amount column. Now to get the function for quantity and total amount, we only click on the function, for example, the maximum value, and then select the right bottom side of the cell and drag it to the right side to compute the total amount or maximum value for the quantity and the maximum value for the total amount. Now for the minimum value, again, copy the formula by using autofill. Now we got the minimum value for the quantity column and the minimum value for total amount. The same with average. Drag the cell to the right side to compute the average value for the quantity and the average value for the total amount. The same with the total value or the summation. Compute the summation for the quantity and total amount by using the autofill. Now here we can see hash. Hash means unknown value, undefined value. That means we need to change the cell type. So right mouse click on the cell and then select Format Cell. Change the cell type to general and then press OK. Now let us continue. E, count number in D19, use count and the data range is D8, F13. Use the count function to count the number of cells through price, quantity and total amount. Now we need to see how many cells do we have in the data range of D8 up to F13. So we need to count how many data do we have in this range. To count the data in this range, first put the cursor on D19 to compute the count number and then select Insert Function. The required function is count C-O-U-N-T, and the data range is between D8 up to F13 and then press OK. Now we finish question number 2. We will go to question number 3. Question number 3, format the value of price and total amount as currency English US dollar, as price with 3-digit decimal places and total amount with 2 decimal places. Now we need to format the value for price and the total amount. We can select both of them, both columns, and change only the currency and then select the price and change the decimal places. Again, select the total amount and change the decimal places, or you can change them separately. I will select the price column, the data range between D8, D13, and then right mouse click, select format cells. You need to change the number category and select currency. The required currency is English US dollar. And the price with the three decimal places. So the decimal places should be three decimal places, and the symbol is English US dollar sign. While the total amount, select the range F8, F13, and then right mouse click, select format cells. Change the number category to currency and use the same English US dollar, but the decimal places here are 2 decimal places. Now question number 4. Total average difference. Compute the total average difference in cell G8. The total average difference is calculated based from the average of total amount in cell F17. Remember to use the cell address of the average of total amount F17 rather than using the actual data. In this case, we need to use absolute reference. So the total average difference on G8 will be the total amount F8 minus the average of total amount, which is F17. After that, we need to copy the formula down in order to copy in order to do the same equation for the other numbers. Now to compute the total average difference on G8, put the cursor on G8 and then write the formula on formula bar. First of all, we need to type equal, and then the equation should be like that. For the first medicine, we are computing the total average difference for the first medicine, Panadol. Now we need to select the total amount of Panadol. This is the total amount of Panadol on F8. And then we will subtract it minus from the average of total amount. And the average of total amount is on F17. But this data will never change. The address of this location will never change. That means even when we are computing the total average difference for the other medicine, for betadine for example, we will use F9 minus the same address, F17. So in this case, we have F17 as constant. So we consider it as absolute value, and we need to add a dollar sign between the column F and the row 17. In this case, we will keep F17 as constant without any change for when we are doing copy formula. Now we compute the total average difference for the first medicine. Now put the cursor at the bottom right side of the first cell and then drag the mouse down in order to copy the formula using the autofill. Now you can see that when computing the total average difference for the other medicine, betadine, the equation will be like that, F9 minus F17. So F17 will stay as it is with no change. Now question number 5. Create a copy of Muscat sheet at the end of the worksheet and then rename the sheet to Suhar and change the tab color to any shade of green. Now to create another copy of Muscat sheet, just right mouse click on Muscat sheet and then select Move or Copy. Now click on Create a Copy and then select Move to End, then press OK. Now a new sheet appears here. The new sheet name is Muscat Sheet 2. Double click on Muscat Sheet 2 and change it to Suhar Sheet. Now we need to change the tab color into any shade of green. To change the tab color, just right mouse click on the tab and then select tab color, any shade of green. So now we have two sheets, Muscat sheet and Suhar sheet. Now we will change the sheet into Suhar sheet and then continue changing the other sheet, which is Suhar sheet. In Suhar sheet, in cell A4, delete the content Muscat branch and change it to Suhar branch. So be sure that you are clicking on Suhar sheet and then change the word Muscat branch into Suhar branch. Now question number 7. In cells E8, E13, delete the content of quantity and change it to the following data. Now the data, which is in E8 up to E13, is the quantity for each medicine. We need to delete the content, select the range, and then right mouse click, select clear content. And now write the new content in E8, 19, E9, 11, E10, 17, E11, 5, E12, 3, E13, 10. Of course, while changing the quantity, some of those functions will change, will be with different value also, because we are changing the value of quantity, and some of the functions here are depending on the quantity value. Now number 8, create a copy of Suhar sheet at the end of the worksheet and rename the sheet to total sales sheet and tab color to any shade of red. Now right mouse click on Suhar sheet, select move or copy, select create a copy and move to the end, and then press OK. Now we have another sheet, Suhar sheet 2. Double click on it and rename it to total sales sheet. Change the tab color, right mouse click tab color to any shade of red. Now be sure that you are using the total sales sheet and that the total sales sheet is active, and then we will continue doing some other functions on total sales sheet. We will continue this in the other video.